See right there. You'll also be seeing 4 different colors today in the caverns, and each color represents a different type of mineral. White is calcite in its purest form. Any gray or black is manganese oxide. Our most dominant color, the reddish orange, is iron oxide or rust. You'll also be seeing some green today. This is not natural, but because of the lights and the humidity, it's caused cave algae or cave moss to grow in some areas. And you'll see that especially around the light fixtures. In fact, once we start moving, if you look to your right up here where this one light is, you'll see a lot of green right in that area. And our next stop's going to be at the Luray Caverns Fish Market. On our way there, we're going to be passing under our natural bridge. Make sure you guys watch your step. There are a couple of... You'll notice these formations are very wet and slippery, while these up here on the ceiling are very dry and chalky. This is because these up here are no longer active, they're dormant. However, if water were to somehow reach them, there is a chance that they may start to grow and once again become active. Now just up ahead, we're going to be passing by Dream Lake. Dream Lake is the largest body of water in the caverns at about 2,500 square feet in area. However, it's only about 20 inches deep at its deepest point. And what makes it so special is that it reflects a perfect mirror image of the ceiling above. So it creates a... You all please keep in mind the bottom is completely flat.
Wait a minute, this is a reflection of the top?
The bottom is completely flat. There are no formations on the bottom.
Oh, it's water then.
This is
Like see, I can have a light on the ceiling and the shelf of the water.
That is really...
And right here you can actually see the bottom, and you can see that there are no formations here.
That's beautiful. Very interesting to me.
Second, they called that the ghost because when the 3 men came down here exploring, keep in mind all they had were very small candles and lanterns to light their way. And every time they passed this formation, their candles would flicker, casting shadows upon it, giving the illusion that it was moving and kind of floating above the ground. So actually they thought that it was a ghost trying to scare them out. Now Pluto here is going to haunt us 2 more times on the tour today, each view getting closer and better. Our third and final view will be right down there where you see the pathway. And behind me here is the world's biggest and ugliest set of false teeth. Our next stop will be at Skeleton's Gorge. Just make sure you guys watch your head here because ceilings are kind of... Sometimes towards the end of the tour when we're coming back up towards the surface, if it's been raining a lot, we'll get a lot more dripping. And sometimes it'll even get like big puddles in the middle of the pathway, but it's never like so that yeah, it won't be like that. Sometimes we'll get like little mini streams across the pathway, but it's nothing like bad where it'll like flood it or anything like that. Yeah. Alright everyone, this area here is called Skeleton's Gorge, and during the initial exploration of the caverns, Andrew did that tall skinny column down there in the middle of the pathway. Can everyone see that?
Bone fragments?
Yep, bone fragments. And these bones were found right around there towards the bottom of that column, and they were buried in several inches of calcite, indicating their presence for about 700 years. And after further studies, they were later identified to be belonging to a very young Native American girl between the ages of about 12 and 19. Now originally, they actually thought that this girl died down here when she got lost. They thought that perhaps she was the first person to ever discover the caverns. However, this was later proven false though, because they only found some of her smaller bone fragments instead of the entire skeleton. And this would lead us to believe that she lived and died on the surface and was then buried in a natural sinkhole. After many snows and rains, the water washed down some of her smaller bone fragments through a crack in the ceiling that used to be right up there, then washing her bones down this path to land at the column. We have named this column the Princess Column in her honor, and her bones are now in storage at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum in Washington, D.C. In about 20 minutes minutes or so, we're actually going to pass right through Skeleton's Gorge, right past the Princess Column. For now, we're going to go right around the corner and get our second view of Pluto. Titania's Vale, or the Frozen Waterfall. It got its name from William Shakespeare's play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. And that's from this pure calcite ran down that wall and got deposited. And this type of formation we call flowstone. Believe it or not, this takes over 300 years just for a cubic inch to form, since it is formed from flowing water instead of just drips. And if you take a look right there, you'll see our Liberty Bell, complete with a crack down the center. Now, the next thing I'm going to point out, some of you guys in the back won't be able to see it, but you'll see it in just a second once we get up here. Right under the Liberty Bell is Snoopy's doghouse. However, you have to be at this angle to see it properly. So once again, those of you in the back, you probably can't see it. So once you get to the top of the hill, just turn around.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it looks just like a doghouse. And Snoopy is right on top taking a nap. And he better watch out for our cave snake. Our next stop.
Yes, it does. Look at the one that's spiraling up like that. Yeah, decorate that as a Christmas tree.
Hello. The giant redwood tree, 7.8 million years old, 40 feet in height and about 120 feet in circumference at its base. Now, I don't really like the name giant redwood. Personally, I think it looks nothing like a tree. I think it looks more like a big shaggy dog. Just use your imagination. Here's his head, his front leg, his back leg, and there's his big shaggy tail. It can also be a big woolly mammoth if you put a trunk on it.
That's what I was thinking.
Alright guys, behind me over the handrails we get one of the best views of the caverns. This area back here is called Totem Pole Valley, and you'll see it once we start to come around the corner. Our next stop will be at Saracen's Tent.
It's a heck of a sandcastle. Yeah, this is very cool. Now, look how these look like they're stacked up, you know, like bonsai. It is amazing. Those look like skeleton heads up there.
Ooh, bats hanging from the ceiling.
Hey! Oh, they have bats in here. You can bet.
Of mineral-laden water will run down the contours of the ceiling, leaving behind a trail of minerals. Now, over hundreds, even thousands of years, these minerals will build up into these sheet-like formations. And this also takes about 120 years per cubic inch to form. Depending on the flow of the water, some are very thick, like right here. Others, like if you look there inside of the tent, are translucent, meaning that you can shine your light through them. We call that one there our Luray Caverns bath towel. Our next stop's going to be just around the corner. Make sure you guys watch your step. There's a formation pathway up ahead.
Look at what's ahead.
Alright guys, over here is our... This fell last week. No, I'm kidding. It actually fell about 7,000 years ago due to a very massive earth disturbance. And this flat end was once attached right up there. We were just standing under that very spot. This is estimated to weigh about 170 tons, but don't worry, it is the last formation ever fall in the caverns. That's a good thing to look above you. We're now in one of the most decorated views in the caverns. Our next stop's going to be just up ahead in Giant Hall. Make sure you all watch out for the wishing rock just up ahead. We call it the wishing rock because if you run into it, you'll definitely wish you hadn't.
What's the family's name that owns it?
The Graves.
And did they get it from the people who...
If you take a look on the top of this hill here, in the winter it's a Christmas tree, in the spring it's an upside down ice cream cone, in the summer it's a seashell, in the fall it's a pine cone.
It's true.
A little boy once said that it looked like like his mom's haircut.
Like Marge in The Simpsons.
Simpsons, yeah, I've heard that one too. Alright, next stop's just up ahead in the cathedral. We're going to get a live performance of our great Stalacpipe Organ.
Ooh.
You're going to get a performance. Loving it.
Oh, I can't look.
I can't look. It's that shiny.
Wait a minute, girls. Where were you? Andy, stand there. Joe.
Stalactite is what we call a solenoid. There are 37 of these spread out over about 3 acres of the caverns. What happens is it'll tap the formation very lightly. The sound is then picked up by a small microphone right under it, where it's then sent back through the wires and the sound is amplified through hidden speakers throughout the room. Today, you will hear an automated performance of A Mighty Fortress Is Our God. Now, although it's automated, it's still considered live. In fact, if you stand right over in that area, you can watch this formation get tapped about 20 times throughout the song. And once again, it's called A Mighty Fortress Is Our God. Hope everyone enjoys the performance.
You see it moving?
Mm-hmm.